and the sex just stopped.
What do you mean just stopped?
Every day? Once a week? Once a year? How often is normal?
Sexless marriages are an undeniable epidemic, says Dr. Phil. And since sex and intimacy are a meaningful part of a relationship, loss of sexual desire can severely affect a marriage.
How long do I wait until she lets us both have a healthy sex life, as her affection is like a dried-up dishwashing rag? Dry, cold, and hurtful.
You are in a partnership. This means she does not say I don't desire you anymore sexually unless you both talk about it first. Or there is a medical reason.
She is being more bitchy and picky about everything. What looks small she behaves like an ass or a spoiled brat.
I bet she told you she does not like kissing, screams if you cuddle or try to initiate sex or affection as if you are a rapist. You are in a sexless marriage. Many men go through this, but she expects you to be faithful until she decides your future together. According to Dr. Phil, there is no magic number that can tell couples how often they should be having sex in order to be normal. Instead, he encourages people to discuss their needs openly with their partners and negotiate a relationship that meets both of their needs. Having said that, here is what the latest research says about how often Americans are, and aren't, having sex. Married couples say they have sex an average of 68.5 times a year. That's slightly more than once a week. Newsweek, married people have 6.9 more sexual encounters per year than people who have never been married. Newsweek, 15 to 20% of couples have sex no more than 10 times a year, which experts define as a sexless marriage. Newsweek, 20 to 30% of men and 30 to 50% of women say they have little or no sex drive. USA Today, 25% of all Americans, a third of women and a fifth of men, suffer from a condition known as hypoactive sexual desire. HSD, which is defined as a persistent or recurring deficiency or absence of sexual fantasies or thoughts, or a lack of interest in sex or being sexual. Psychology Today.
I keep thinking my wife has sexual plans with another because if she is not wanting me then she is seeking another place. I am sick of her making up fights to avoid being close. And all the nice things I do for her she is always finding fault. Unless you are living in this nightmare you would find it hard to understand.
Let me tell you, she is gutless and the one with the problems. You are looking for a woman who does not play sexual games, that does not fuck with your emotions or feelings. There is mature women who want to feel physical love without the rejection. I can't be bothered with the crap. I am an older woman and wish a man could love me and desire me sexually. I don't want to break up your marriage, but I am available to fill the needs your wife does not intend to do.
Without sex in my life it is empty. My wife wants to be friends, and behaves as if sex is secondary. I told her I did not marry you to be friends or have a roommate. She just does not get it.
Sexless marriages aren't the result of aging. There are plenty of couples who have regular sex well into their 70s and 80s. On the other hand, there are many couples who fall into a sexless situation in their 30s or even 20s. Age is no excuse to stop having sex. Waiting for this situation to clear up on its own is like saying goodbye to sex forever.
Oh, I feel so alone. I see other couples kissing and hugging in public and wish I had just a little some of that, the depression and the aloneness I hide. If only she would smile or hold my hand. If only she would be thoughtful and make me a coffee out of kindness and thinking of me, just a little more.
Some couples go on 4 years without having sex. Don't let this happen to you. Women like her only want that they can't have. Sex completes the connection that you have as a couple. Good mutual love involves intimacy.
I feel unattractive, unwanted, unappreciated, and taken for granted.
Stop it, I said stop it. If you want to have sex and feel the love of the women, then let's set up sexual times together.
I feel this is cheating, because just maybe she will feel attracted again.
Until then, what are you going to do? Jack off over photos? The next thing is, this is our time to get close. If she is rejecting you, then it is her loss, okay? And if you need to confess your guilt, then see a priest, okay? It does you no good to tell her your feelings. This has you feeling rejected more. Just be discreet, okay? Remember, she did not tell you she was going to take a sex break. And the harder you try to work this out, she pushed you away more with the excuses and bullshit. Fight's. I've been in a sexless relationship for almost a decade. It has finally broken my spirit.
But you are so attractive.
I felt ugly, unloved, unwelcome, inadequate, inconceivably alone, and as if the choice I am forced to make, do I sleep around and lose my marriage, or do I not sleep around and lose my sanity, is simply the worst abuse one could think up. Because it locks me in an eternal battle with my conscience, who I am, and what I want from my life. I feel dirty and selfish for wanting sex. Like I am some kind of prowling scavenger. I am constantly in a state of humiliation because I have this basal need that was simply not on my husband's list of things to do. At times I thought of just walking out, but I then think I must be tremendously shallow if everything else is okay, except this, and I am thinking of giving up all we have for a few silly orgasms. And other times I can really think of nothing else. Every man I walk past makes me feel like a depraved animal, and I literally have to reel myself in to not approach him with a no-strings suggestion. I have never felt as out of control as I do now, as if I am too strong to keep in line. It scares me. It's like waking up as a bionic woman, and having no clue why you can walk straight through your own morals, your own values, and just need something so badly that you will risk everything to get it. I am not sure if I am making sense to anyone. But maybe there's someone who feels the same way, and don't have the words yet.
If sex was not meant by God to be part of marriage, I understand the loneliness you feel, for I feel it as well. The loneliness leads to resentment and bitterness. To this day I still do not know why my advances are rejected. It is a hard way to live.
I told you this because many men and women know how you feel.